The Minnesota Wild have fired head coach Bruce Boudreau.
Yeah, man, this was very confusing. I'm not gonna lie. They sit 3 points out of the second wild card spot. They have a record of 27, 23, and 7. Uh, I just thought this was the weirdest thing. So I have a quote here from Bill Guerin. And so he said, Guerin said this change doesn't change the fact that the goal for the Minnesota Wild is the playoffs. And the quote is, I expect this team to compete for a playoff spot. I think maybe some adjustments or a different voice that Dean will bring will help the guys. Dean being Dean Evison, who was the assistant coach and will now take control of the team for the rest of the season. I still don't understand this firing.
So you trade your best forward, your head coach who has had nothing but success in his career, except game sevens at home. We don't talk about that though. And you still expect your team to make it? I mean, yeah, they're in a position, and I believe they're 5-4-1 in their last 10. That's not amazing, but they're in the Central Division, second last in that division, still in a race. I mean,
well,
I don't understand it.
You know, Bill Guerin came out and said that they're going to do a full search for a permanent replacement during the offseason. Before that, I would have assumed that, okay, there's a whole list of big options out there to bring in to replace Bruce Boudreau, but I'd assume they're going to do that now. Now, I don't see why you fire Boudreau now and bring in Evison. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems really weird.
Were you? We didn't see this coming, but were you really that shocked? Because it felt like this was coming for a while.
It's not that I would. Okay, I feel like we've been talking about Boudreau being fired for like a couple of years now, because Minnesota isn't good enough to make a deep playoff run and isn't bad enough to bottom out. And I feel like the owner and the GM, they didn't know what direction they wanted to take the team. Right? Okay, what are we doing? Are we going to try to build this team up, or are we going to just tear it down and completely rebuild? And now that I think Bill Guerin has a better idea of what he wants to do, which even by that quote, I don't feel like he has I feel like he has a plan. I just don't know what the plan is.
I would agree. When I saw that Zucker trade, I thought, all right, Minnesota are finally gonna tear it down. But now, with that quote and the Boudreau firing, I agree. I have no clue what you're doing here.
Now, for me, there were two questions that really came out of this firing. Number one, who is going to be his permanent replacement next season? Now, there's I have three options here. I don't know if you have any other names. Obviously, we have Gerard Gallant, who was fired by Vegas a month ago, not even. Peter Laviolette, who was let go by the Nashville Predators a month ago. And we have one name. I don't think this is going to be a case, but I put it down anyways in Babcock. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know.
I was actually the first name I thought of was Mike Babcock. I won't lie to you, because it encapsulates Minnesota to a T. That's a coach that you would bring into a winning team, I think, now. And the Minnesota Wild still don't know what exactly they are. They think they're winning, I guess. I don't think, if I'm Gerard Gallant, I wouldn't go anywhere near Minnesota because of the reasons we've just talked about. If I'm Gerard Gallant, I want to win.
But it's interesting to think about. If I'm Gerard Gallant, I go in for an interview and Bill Guerin says, okay, we're going to tear down this team and do a rebuild. I think that's something Gerard Gallant can do. I mean, you look at what he did in Vegas. I guess it was a little bit different because you have all these guys who really weren't anyone didn't think much about them. Like, who thought about William Karlsson? You know, you look at it like a guy like that. Just, I feel like Minnesota, depending on the direction they want to go, could be a good destination for Gallant.
Well, the Minnesota Wild are one of those teams that we don't quite know what they're doing, but they will be fascinating to keep an eye on. Let's see if they make any
Yeah.
more moves come the deadline.